Hi, this is Joel from Mindless Brain. I have just uploaded another update to MindlessCreator, and even though it's not really ready for production yet, you can still do a few things with it. So if you want to play around with it, here are some things you can do. Let's start with creating a material. So let's go to new material here, and just as default of the noise node, now you can see this is a list of nodes, so you can choose from a variety of nodes. Not all of them work, but so I can add a whole bunch of nodes if I like. And basically the way it works is I can change some things about that node. Now I can, if I make that node inactive, you can see the node behind it. So basically everything's applied one after the next, like in a sequence, and the output of that one is available to the input of this one, or gets passed through to the next one. So each of these nodes can produce a variety of outputs. Let's just reduce it a little bit, down a little bit. So that's a noise node. Now you can change the gradient on the noise. There's only currently one way to change the gradient, and I'll finish off the editing stuff doesn't work. So what you do now is using a reference image, for example. So let's say, so I have to go to image, and then let's say I want to make a wood texture. So just drag and drop an image into that grey area, or just click the button and find the image and upload it. And if I drag my mouse cursor with the button down over a section, it pulls out a list of colours, a gradient of colours, and you can apply that. And you can see it's pretty up and down messy colours, but if you then were to change the scale and everything to make so it would sort of make sense, which would in wood would be something like this. So there's a sort of a one layer of wood. Now let's say I want to produce other. So this is currently doing a diffuse map and a height map. Let's take out the height map there, and let's go to the next one down. And what I'll do is I'll make this inactive so I can see the next one down. And then I'll do a similar thing, but this one I'll produce a height map. And from here I'll actually produce a normal based on that height map. Now, seeing as I don't need the diffuse, I'm just going to leave that off. And so I'm just producing the height. You can see I've got the height ticked. So the output of this noise is just going into the height. Now, you can see this. You see the top left-hand corner here where you've got the color map, and you've got the height map there. So the color map is currently what's showing just behind here, which we don't want. Let's turn back on the wood. So now the color map is the wood, and the height map is that. Now, from there I can actually produce a, I'll switch that off. I can actually produce a normal map by, I'm going to take off some of these extraneous ones. So, normal, and this node produces a normal and an ambient occlusion map from the heights that come through to it. So it's quite dramatic there, as you can see, a bit dramatic. So we might just turn the normal strength down, the heights, take the heights down quite a bit, the normal strength, take it way down. So it's just a bit of a ripple there. And I'll change that level. There's all these values you can mess around with, but they just produce a slightly different output there. And I just think that it's probably a little, it might work as wood, but it's a little shiny, let's say. So in the settings, we've got our roughness setting here. So smooth would be, gives it a waxy look, a very reflective look. If you know PBR materials, that's roughness. 0 is very smooth. 1 is very rough, so it's not really reflecting light at all. And metalness makes it into a metal. That's a very rough metal. A very shiny metal is basically reflective. So this is obviously not a metal, so that's 0, and we don't want it to be that shiny. That's not too bad. Now it's a bit dull at the moment, right? So I just want to add an extra bit of. Let's change the gradient here. Apply. Unfortunately, as I said, we can't add something in to change this, but we can't actually change it without making that inactive. So this is the one we're looking at the moment, which is the first one here. So if I play around, I actually want it to be more like this, but just a little bit more like that. And that just looks very messy, obviously. So what we want to do is, let's go to the one that's currently out. Let's make it active again. Now what we want to do is we want to mix this in. So I'm going to alpha mix it in. So that is the one is this one, and 0 is the one below it. So I'm just going to mix that in just a little bit to get some color variation. That's okay. It's okay. Still the normal map looks a bit too heavy, I think. So if I go to normal map and I might take the strength down even further. It's a very sharp normal map. Don't want it to be 0, but yeah, it's a very sharp there. It's a bit hard to get even lower than that. Well, I can bring the level down, maybe that'll flatten it out a bit. A bit hard to set. We can change the filter. No, that looks even sharper. And we've also got an AO map here. Now there's not really much AO to go on with the wood, but you can see it's just doing that at the moment. I think that's probably a bit too strong. So that's darkening it up. Flat the AO map out and just a very bare bones AO map there. So now we have basically, if you go back to the, shut this and open view, you see we've got the diffuse map, we've got the height map, we've got a normal map, and we've got the ambient occlusion map. And if you want to export those, you can click on there and it'll give you a place to export them. You can just choose where you want to export. Click on each of the maps to export each map. And these are toggle. The ones at the top left, the color, it toggles on and off, by the way. So I had an X before in the corner to turn it off because there's no obvious way to turn it off. You just got to click it again to toggle it off. But anyway, that's a simple wood texture. Yeah, that's good for this one.